Welcome to this week's episode, guys. This week we carry on with more of the Osmosis, as well as doing a few other odd jobs around the boat. We did have a lot of rain at the beginning of the week, so it did put a little bit of a pause on some of the jobs that we've been doing, but it also gave us a little bit of downtime. And it being the new year, beginning of the new year, we had some time to just chill out and relax, so it was fantastic. We hope you enjoy this video. Thanks again to all of our patrons for your continued support. We truly appreciate it so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you, guys. Enjoy this episode. Cheers. Hi, I'm Erica, and this is my fiance, Davy. We are living aboard our new to us hurricane-damaged catamaran, Barefoot 2.0. We met in Fiji 3 years ago and have experienced so many beautiful places together. For the past 2 years, we've made the ocean our home, starting on our Catalina 36 in the States and the Northern Caribbean. We hope to one day circumnavigate the globe, but for now we are fixing our boat one step at a time. Subscribe to our channel to follow our journey. When faced with a challenge, look for a way, not a way out.
Morning, guys. So finally it looks like the weather might be back on our side. We might actually get a couple of days of sunshine so we can crack on a bit more. Last couple of days we have managed to work a little bit underneath Little Sister. Just been a couple of hours here and there really. So I've been peeling this top layer down to this crease. As far as I can get, we're still on the trailer, so we're waiting for the yard to get us off, but there is a problem with the hydraulics. Due to Christmas, we can't get the parts, or the yard can't get the parts for the hydraulics, so we're kind of having to work around the trailer at the moment. That's kind of how it is in a third world country, and plus being Christmas as well, getting parts isn't so super easy. But the peeling's coming along nicely. Found another slight technique that I find is better, and that's using the peeler just for about maybe a 2-foot square section, putting the peeler down, then going on to either using the grinder or the sander just to clean it back, just so that then, because you do get a tiny, you can tell you've been using the peeler. It's not big ridges anymore because of the settings are good, but it's nice to run it over with some 60 grit and just to clean up, especially around areas like around through holes. A lot of people have been asking, show the bubbles, show the bubbles. It's really difficult to show the bubbles on the camera, but this morning coming out here, I can see, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but you see the damp spots? These damp spots here, damp spot here, and if you do the sniff test, it smells like vinegar. So that is definitely osmosis. There's plenty of spots of osmosis. A few of the areas we've actually got rid of it. This was an area here, ground back a little bit deeper. Same in this area here. But so the peeling has been going very slowly. That's just the way it is. Thinking today, if it's going to be a nice sunny day, I want to get some work done on my own boat as well. So I think I'll probably do about a half day on some peeling on Little Sister, and then I think I'm going to come back and I've got to choose one of a few jobs. If you remember, we did turn this mic around. We were doing the double-sided repair, and I put the wax paper on it. That wax paper has been on it for a few days. I mean, it definitely didn't need to stay on that long. But let's peel this off. Just reveal it to the air. It's all completely cured. I did cheat and have a little look earlier on under the corner. So, that wax paper's got me in a bit of a pain to come off. Normally comes off really easy, but then again I normally take it off after just a few hours. But the wax paper looks like it's been affected by all the rain. Wouldn't have thought so, because you would think it was completely waterproof. But anyway, that area's just come up nice and smooth. As I say, this is very slightly lower than it needs to be. I did put a little bit of the adhesive filler on the top. So I'm going to give that a quite quick sanding. Don't worry, it's not going to affect the matting in any way. And the discolorations that you can see there, they're not air bubbles. That's because we put some adhesive filler on there as well. I'm only going to sand it back a little way, and then I'm going to wait until we've got the equipment to do the fairing filling, fairing boards and sanding boards, etc. This is the area I opened up. It's beautiful, it's nice. It's really come out good. Same on this side. Might as well just pull these off. They've been on there for days. It's starting to get water behind them. So again, yeah, absolutely beautiful. So I'll continue to clean up all this area and obviously pick up my trash afterwards. It's all going on the floor. So I reckon today is going to involve a little bit of sanding on these areas. Once I get all this off, we're still waiting for a jack, which is going to go here just behind where the rudders go, because this is a proper lifting point. We're waiting for the jack so that then we can move on to the bigger project, which is around the keels and the keels themselves, plus the large cracked area on this side of the boat. This side here, the starboard side, we do have an issue that there's too much weight on the keel, as we mentioned in one of the episodes. So we need to get the weight off the keel so that all the stringers are completely back in place and aligned up from the inside before we start doing the repair. I don't want to do it with this much weight on and end up with a completely deformed boat afterwards. All right, so that's kind of the plan for today. Let's crack on, see what we can do, and see if we, fingers crossed that the weather stays with us. Weather forecast does say it's supposed to be good, so hasn't been accurate every day. So fingers crossed, see what we can get done today. So just a little update of what we did yesterday, what we got done. Inside here, give me a second, gotta climb over. Boat's still on the trailer. So this is where I started yesterday. Did this upper section here, but I also did it with the running a slight grinder over it and a sander. So there's no more need for any finish on that. Obviously going to run a little bit of fairing filler, or adhesive filler, sorry, not fairing filler, into some of the little divots where we were finding the osmosis. People have been asking about the osmosis, then show us it. Not sure how easy it is to pick up. This is an area of osmosis that I've ground back. Here is another area here. This one hasn't been ground back just yet. You see the little dips and dimples? Most of these here are small bubbles from osmosis. This is a factory fail, small divot here which we'll fill in. One of the biggest ones was actually this section here. You can actually it's still wet and it's still running, and that's a good maybe 16 hours. And this area here, so I haven't ground this back in because I wanted to show it to you on the camera. As soon as I touched this area, it just ran with water. The water itself smells vinegary, which is a very clear indication of osmosis. Also, there's many other areas here on the boat. So I'm looking in this, let's call it a foot square. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 plus, maybe more. Same again in this area here, lots of them. You see all these dips and dimples. So these few of these areas I'm going to need to grind back a little bit on. A lot of the osmosis, I think I'm going to take you actually onto the other side, so bear with me a second, and we'll show you the other side. There's another section that I did. So I ran the peeler along. You can still see it's got a slight rough edge on it. I don't want to cut super deep, there's no need for it. So I'm leaving it slightly rough, just running over with a grinder or 60 grit sandpaper, very lightly if using a grinder. We don't want to put any divots in areas that we don't need. This first section had a sanding. Again, osmosis, plenty of osmosis. All the little black air spots, they've got to be ground back, sanded back a little bit more. And then there's going to be, once this is all peeled off, this is going to have to go through a drying stage. Okay, so once this has actually been peeled, sanded, it's going to have to go through a drying stage. They do suggest that you wash the hull every about 48 hours, just with water basically, to wash off any residue like this stuff here. You would think we're drying it, why would you want to make it wet? But they do say actually by washing it every 48 hours to remove any residue that's coming out of the dodgy areas actually makes it dry faster. Yeah, I double checked that because I wasn't really sure. I thought that sounded a bit off, but yeah, that's what everybody recommends. So let me just show you actually, because some of the bubbles on this side here are actually starting to get quite clear and visible. We haven't peeled anything on this side yet, but I was talking with Stephen yesterday and we were looking at some of the damages. So let me turn the camera again. Okay, so in the heat of the day, it's morning, so they're not actually as big as they were. But you see this bubble, 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 bubble. They're literally in what, 2 square inches here. There is probably 20 odd bubbles. But when using the peeler, we're finding most of these bubbles are literally just behind the gel coat. So peeling it off is removing most of it. There's only a few of them that are actually deeper, and that section I just showed you inside as well, that was a pretty nasty section. But these areas, all these areas, these are big blisters. But as I said, peeling seems to take most of it off. So we're going to crack on. So this is where I'm working today. On the first day we got to about here. This morning I've started, so I've just done a small section, small run here. Again, it's leaving a little bit of paint residue, but that's because I don't need, some areas of this boat have got such thin gel coat, I don't want to cut it all back too far. I'd rather take a little bit of extra time and just take off a few of these bits and pieces with a sander, rather than actually strip down the integrity of the fiberglass by cutting too deep. This boat definitely doesn't need a new layer of fiberglass, so let's just get rid of the gel coat, deal with some of the patchy bits. Some of the patchy bits, to be honest, are coming up because the hull's not completely straight, so it's leaving, there's some imperfections, but we're going to try and fix those imperfections when we go over with the adhesive filler before we do the treatment with epoxy. So let's crack on with that today, see if we can't get this side done. Reason I haven't done this side lately and I keep moving around is because we had the big lake, the puddle. That's now pretty much gone away. It's still a bit damp, but it's safe for me to work on this side with a boat with power tools. So I'm going to crack on here in case it rains again, which I'm sure it will, and then the puddle comes back. So I want to get this side done. The other areas are easier to do when it's bad weather. Alright, well I'm just about to pop out to check out a couple of boats that are for sale for mates of mine, but I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you. So just peeled this area probably 5 minutes ago. Some of it's dried off already, but you see here, this is water, this is water, this is water, this is water, this is water. So we found another area. Seems to be where they're around the areas of through holes at the moment. So yeah, we got lots of little water patches showing through, or here, 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 here. So yeah, lots of spots to work on, but that shows the evidence. Some people were saying you couldn't see the bubbles, you couldn't see any obvious osmosis, but you see here this water is dripping out. It's dripping off my finger. Okay, that's come up from here, so that's gone what, 8 inches from here to be able to actually drip.
There hasn't been much going on this week because it's been raining a lot. So unfortunately we didn't put out a Wednesday video for you guys, but hopefully next week we will be, as long as the weather stays what it's doing now. We have gotten a few things done though. What do you think, babe?
We got loads done.
He's sitting down here.
I'm tired. Hi guys, just taking a break.
There's little Fox. Now I'll show you some of the other jobs that Davy's been, well, we've been working on. What's that? Do you want to come down too? Oh, big stretches. Oh, big stretches. We'll go for a walk soon, okay? Hello, you.
Hello. Are you filming?
So one of the other things you might notice if you do follow us, Foxy. if you do follow us on Facebook and Instagram, you will see that we have been doing some work on the props this week. If you don't follow us on Facebook and Instagram, find us, give our page a like, and we do put out quite a few photos here and there of what we're doing behind the scenes. So check it out. But we have taken off the props. Now, so we've managed to take the props off. They're heavy.
I'm not that heavy. It's just greasy.
Oh.
Show them what you did to your props.
So our mate Steven, he actually cleaned them up a little bit for us, which was great because Davy's been peeling the boat. They look beautiful. But they didn't want to come off for like weeks, so we put a lot of PB blaster and penetrating oil and stuff in there, and it finally came off. The zincs look terrible. So luckily we've managed to find some new ones on Amazon, so we will be replacing those because those ones are just shot. What crack?
Well, where the water was coming.
Ah.
Remember, it was the thing.
Oh yeah, with the food dye.
Yeah. Okay, so back to shop. Well, I just wanted to show you what we were searching for before with the food dye. That little mark there is not actually food dye. That's like a little rusty spot. But this area here, now I've cleaned. This was all covered in glue from the old sail drive boots. I sanded that off yesterday, and it has revealed a little bit of cracking and a small repair that's been done here. So I think basically every time it's rained, a little bit of water has been going in this crack. That's basically the only water that's come out since yesterday. So I'm going to grind this little area back and fix it properly.
Sounds good. I think someone wants to go for a walk. Was that Fox? That's what you're supposed to bark. Some people comment on our videos and they say there's always the dog barking in the background. Most of the time it's not our dog, it's the other yard dogs. But this time it is actually ours because she wants to go for a walk. And it's as soon as I turn my back on her, that's when she starts barking. Davy's been doing some sanding too. The boat's starting to look beautiful. Well, it's getting there.
So once it's all ground off, gonna have to do, stupid camera. Hello, turn. Okay, it's turned on that one.